Good morning, everyone. My name is Carmela Boykin. I'm a host and producer at the Washington Post, and I'm joined by two massive content creators this morning, Alex Hershey and Lauren Gray. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Our panel today this morning is called This is How You Create Great Content, something you both are naturally experts at. So for your respective brands, what does it mean to create great content? What does that look like?
You want to go?
Sure. For me, it's always been audience first. Whatever I can find that I'm passionate about in my life that connects to my audience, finding that blend between the two has always worked best for me.
Yeah. I think for me, when I started, it was really about being specific to each platform. You know, I recognized very early on that what works on YouTube doesn't work on Facebook, what works on Facebook doesn't work on Instagram. So for us, creating great content is about really knowing what your audience wants to see on each platform.
Now, Alex, when you started your supercar content creation, you, of course, weren't this massive brand. It was a side hustle for you. You were a radio host in Dubai. And then when you went full-time, you were traveling 300 days out of the year with your husband. Bus, club, another club, another club. You were writing, shooting, editing, doing everything yourself, running the business yourself. How does that content creation process look different now and then?
Wow. So different. As you said, yeah, it was me first, full time. I quit my job on the radio, then my husband joined me a year later. And so yeah, it was just us two, and we literally had 3 shoots a day, and then we'd head to whatever hotel we were staying in around the world, and then edit and produce and upload until 2 a.m., and then we'd do the whole thing again, right? Now I have an incredible team of producers, editors, journalists, and people who are actually constantly looking for incredible content. We have a team of 70 people now. So it's kind of really grown just since COVID because we couldn't travel around the world anymore, just the two of us, and create great content. The world closed down. So we need to work out, well, how are we going to keep great content on our platform? That's by hiring and having a bigger team to be able to help.
Fantastic. And Lauren, for you, your start is quite interesting because you were publishing to the web app Musical.ly, the predecessor for TikTok, by accident. You thought you were saving to your camera roll. Those videos were uploading at the same time and gaining a following. So how has the creation process changed for you?
I feel like the content creation process is always evolving. I always have that thread of similarities between the content from when I first started to now. It's all very in the moment. It's all authentic and organic to me and what I'm going through or what I'm experiencing. But, you know, the formatting is always changing. Platforms are always changing. At the time, at the Musical.ly time, that era was 15-second videos. Now we have Reels. TikTok has grown from 15 seconds to now a minute, 10 minutes even. So it's just about keeping up and staying up to date with what's happening and sort of modeling your content to fit that while having that continuous thread of what keeps you, you.
And the content for you revolves so much around you being a human being. How do you find a balance between living your life and posting your life?
I mean, I'm a little spoiled in the sense that I started so young that it never felt like a job. It was just second nature. It was something that I loved doing that grew into a career. There are times where I feel a little burnt out. I'm like, man, I don't look good today. I don't feel good today. I don't want to post today. And I've learned that at those times, I just have to take a step back and take that time because it's very easy to feel burnt out. But my life is so exciting, and I get to do so many incredible things. And even when it's not, people want to see that too. That's relatable, and that's what I follow creators for, is to see their day-to-day life, whether that be them having the most exciting day ever or the most mundane day.
Real. And talking about sustainability and burnout, Alex, you've talked about how being exclusively a content creator long-term isn't sustainable. So you've been proactive in that by building ventures. You have a media company, SB Media, and SBX Cars, your luxury car auction company that launched earlier this year. What has it been like building those companies, leading those companies, and being a content creator on top of that?
Yeah, so for me it was really important. Like, unlike you, Lauren, I started the social media game later in life. I started in my 30s. So for me, I knew I didn't have, 20, 30 years to build everything. I was like, right, I need to build now, otherwise I'm going to be 50 and still a content creator.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but like,
50-year-old
it's
content
exhausting, as you know, right? So, you have to try and build out as soon as possible. So, I think when everything shut down in 2020, that's when I really had to reevaluate and say this isn't sustainable just to be a one-person content creator. So I thought about bringing on new talent, new hosts, new presenters to represent the brand. So we have four or five different presenters now, which is fantastic, which means that I'm only really in about 5% of the videos, which means that, I went through major burnout in 2020. I wasn't sleeping anymore. I was sleeping maybe 2 hours a night. I had major anxiety, depression, everything. And I hadn't taken that time out for myself in 3 years. I probably didn't have a day off in 3 years. So at that point, I thought, right, I need to think, this is life, it's a journey. There's no end goal. So I needed to work out, right, how is this going to be sustainable from a mental health point of view and physical health point of view? I started taking some days off, and now I'm just like a different person. Now I can actually enjoy what I do again, because at one point we were just grafting so hard that I was like, oh my God, I don't even know why we're doing this anymore, because there was no balance. There was no balance in life, and now there is.
Do you think that intensity was essential to building your brand? Would you change anything about your journey?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I always look back at this and go, could we have taken it a little bit easier? I don't think so. I think it was necessary to really, really grind those first few years because the competition is just so hardcore on social media. So you really need to be out there every single day creating content, otherwise you get left behind. So I think it was necessary. Now it's good that I built it more into a media publishing company so that I'm not totally involved in every single aspect, and now I've got this other business of the auction platform. But so now I have a little bit more of time to myself, but initially I think if you're going to become a creator or want to become a creator, it takes those hard times to do it. Yeah.
That grinding has paid off though, because earlier this year, SBX Cars also broke the world record in June for the most valuable car ever sold online. It was a Lamborghini for $6 million. Is that an important metric to you? How does that feel?
Really good. We're trying to disrupt the car auction world. It's been the same for 100 years, where you have your very formal events around the world, and everyone's wearing a suit and a tie, and they come in once every 3 months and bid on beautiful cars. And we want to disrupt that because there's a whole new world now of people buying cars, and not everyone has the time or even the want to go fly into a different country and be there in person to bid on a car. So now we've brought it all online, and to be selling multi-million-dollar cars online, we were like, is it going to work? Let's give it a go. We have a lot of incredible car collectors around the world that do follow us, and it's working. And I was like, well, this is awesome. I mean, we're learning as we go. Obviously, we've got a lot more data now that we can work on and build and grow. But to sell the world's most expensive car online within a few months of launch was awesome. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I want to beat it though.
Real.
Yeah,
you can always be better.
Yeah.
Even top $6 million.
Yeah.
Speaking of working, Lauren, you've also been working, especially beyond influencing. You're a singer-songwriter. You have an album out. Your song Queen has over 80 million streams on Spotify. You've opened for American musician Hunter Hayes on tour, and you're in a Netflix movie. You're so young. You have already done so much. So what are you most proud of, and where would you like to build next?
I've done a lot of cool stuff, and I'm really, really proud of everything that I've done, but the fan base and the audience that I've been able to maintain and facilitate over the past 9 years is the most special. That connection is something I really, really needed when I first started social media. I was homeschooled, I was in my room by myself, and I had no friends, and that community has carried me so far, so I think that is what I'm the most proud and excited about, and that's what gets me up in the morning. But beyond that, I mean, the Netflix movie was really cool, and the music is also incredible. That's something I've been doing for a long time now, too. I guess it's been 6 years of between working with the label and now being independent. So I'm proud of everything, and I'm proud of being here. I'm proud that I get to sit here and speak with all of you. But the fan base is what brings me back time and time again.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And also in terms of building and having a nice fan base, you've talked about moments with them in your career where you've been going through it in your personal life, but you've been able to maintain your brand throughout. How have you been able to do that?
I mean, my brand is me, and I'm a disaster sometimes. And I think when I was 13 in my room by myself, I was really searching and really would have loved to have someone that I could look at and relate to and feel less alone. So if I get to be that for at least one other person, that is my purpose on social media, and that's what keeps me going. I've had a lot of bad moments. I've had a lot of bad moments publicly, but I think those are just as important to share. And I've always been very transparent with my audience.
Absolutely. You talked a little bit about mental health struggles as well, physical stress symptoms. Is there anything else or any advice you have for people who are going through burnout and content creation?
Yeah, it's hard to notice the signs of burnout when you've never been through it before. I think, you just think, what's wrong with me? I don't understand what's going on. I think you really need to listen to those around you who go, there's something not right here. You're just not who you're meant to be. And you try and bat it away a little bit. You're like, no, I'm fine. Like, let's just keep going. Listen to the people who love you and around you. And if they notice something is wrong, just try and do something about it. Actually go and see someone. Like I had mental health support. I went to see a therapist, and it helped me so much get through that period of time. And also just take, as much as like we understand that it takes a grind every single day, your audience will be there for you when you want to come back. If you need 2 months off where you really you talk to them about it, be open about it. Hey guys, I'm really struggling right now. Like what I did is I uploaded a video, really authentic video, just saying, listen guys, I'm really struggling right now. I've got my sister, I just flew my sister over to help me now. This is my sister, I introduced my sister, my friends, they're helping me now get through this. They're going to create some content as well. And you just kind of talk your audience through what you're going through, and then they'll be there for you. I think it's really important just to be open about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in those moments where maybe you're not necessarily super burnt out, but maybe you're creatively stuck. I make TikToks at the Washington Post, and sometimes I look at the stories and I think about what I need to do, and I'm like, oh, what do I even do?
Yeah.
When you guys get in creative ruts, what are some things that help you, or what do you do to be inspired?
Well, I think when you create content for a long time, and I'm sure you might experience this as well, I'm very jaded by my own life. There's a lot of things that I do that are interesting that I forget are parts of me that I could be sharing. Recently, I've been trying to think outside of the box of what I usually post about. I bought a house in Pennsylvania. It's a 300-year-old farmhouse, and I didn't think anyone would care. And I did a house tour with another creator, and everyone loved it. And that was not something that people expected from me. That was not something I expected people to love. But I think sometimes stepping outside the box and looking at your life or looking at your brand from another perspective and thinking from a consumer's point of view, what would I like to see from this person? What would I find interesting? Because it's very easy to be jaded and not see yourself in the same light as other people might. So yeah, I think just stepping outside and trying to see another angle.
Yeah, same. I agree. I think, my brand has been so car-focused, super car blondie, that sometimes when I need a little bit of a break from cars, the other content I love is, watches, jewelry, housing, and that's what makes me happy. So when I go into a different direction, I can do cars, and then a house. I'm like, oh, it's refreshing to me. So when it's refreshing to me and I feel inspired by it, then it actually refreshes the whole content and the whole audience as well. Even though some people are like, this is not a car in the comments, And like, yeah, I know, it's a house.
It's fun there.
Yeah, but you have to kind of step out of your content sometimes and do other things that you love. Yeah.
Real. Also related to advice, there are a lot of startup founders and owners in the audience. Do you have any advice for people who'd like to start creating content or start creating content for their brands?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think start creating content. I think if you want to become a content creator, because so many people do now when you ask kids at school, you know, what do you want to be, a content creator? It is not a quick or easy way of having a career. That's the first thing everyone needs to know. That I think there is a stat I was looking at just today that 95% of content creators make less than $50,000 a year. You know, and that's a salary that it's not like you can suddenly buy a house and buy cars and like be a rich content creator. You know, it is very hard. And I think if you want to do it, if you're committed to it, you can, but what you need to do is first of all, find a niche. You need to look at, there's so much competition. Every day new people are joining social media. So has it been done before? If it has been done before, how do you make it different? And you need to do it every single day and just keep pushing out content. At the end of the year, you might get one viral video. That's normal. You can't expect to go viral overnight. So just have that kind of long-term planning goal and then look at the data and go, why did that video go viral? What did I do differently? And then double down on that and keep doing that. Yeah.
I always, to your point, say consistency is the #1 thing. It might take 10, 20 videos to a year of posting videos for something to hit. And I also think a lot of times people are making content that they're not necessarily passionate about, but that they think is going to work to get them from point A to point B. So I think when you're pursuing a career or even promoting a brand, it's something that you have to be passionate about because audiences are so aware and audiences can see. It's very transparent when you're not connected to the content. So that would be #2. And #3, I think engaging with the audience is something that people overlook. But building an audience, that social media is all about that connection. That's what differentiates it from traditional media, from film, from TV, from music, is that personal connection that you get. So really, really maintaining that and doing your best to facilitate that and talk to as many people as you can, reach out, make sure you keep the fans engaged. That is #1 above anything.
Absolutely.
I was passionate about that one.
As you should be. You're an expert. My final question for you is, you're both highly accomplished, have massive audiences, but what's next? What are you looking forward to?
I love creating content. I don't think I'll ever get sick of it as long as I take breaks when I need to. Obviously, the film industry is something that I'm pursuing now. I had a great experience, and I'm looking forward to more and more music and just seeing what comes my way and trusting my instincts.
Yeah. For me, it is building out on these other businesses that I've created. So really going from content creator to media publisher. I've got an editorial website now where I have journalists around the world writing about our content. And then the auction house, which is a huge focus of mine. And then next year, we're also going into events, car event space. So we've kind of we're planning out, you know, what the next even 10, 15, 20 years looks like. It's kind of more of a long-term vision at the moment, yeah.
Fantastic. Looking forward to both of your futures.
Thank you.
Alex Hershey, Supercar Blondie, and Lauren Gray, thank you so much. My name is Carmela Boykin. Thank you, everyone, so much, and enjoy the rest of your summit.
Thanks for coming.